All right, good morning, good evening, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, citizens of YouTube. Is Pastor Dowell. I realize that it is inconceivable for most people to actually acknowledge the truth, because the truth is you can't get people who have a deranged mindset, who has no truth in them whatsoever at all, who has never lived the truth, much less walked in it, to ever expect them to not use any racial bias, but deal with the facts at hand. Now, the truth is, you can get upset all you want, many of you, and for many of you white people on here, it's disgusting, the typical mindset that you have. But I understand that we live in a country where mental disorders are going undiagnosed at an unprecedented level. There's a mental sickness that's going on. But I'm a man of truth. I believe in truth, no matter what that truth is. I don't care what color that truth is truth. There's no way you can spin this story and say that those police officers, and I'm going to put it like this, in the heat of the moment, I'm going to use it like that, in the heat of the moment. I looked at that video of this shooting in North Little Rock. I looked at it probably about 4 or 5 times, maybe 6, to tell you the truth. And from what I saw a very irresponsible young black teenager, 17 years old, with a firearm that he didn't even know how to use. I don't understand, if you got a semi-automatic, you shoot that thing while you have to cock it. It just totally irrelevant to me. I am a weapons expert. Are y'all folks listening to me? I am a literal weapons expert. Are you following me? And I train people how to shoot weapons. But looking at this situation right here, in the heat of the moment, that's all I'm dealing with. There's no way that you can say that that young black man was justified. First of all, he's irresponsibly firing rounds. Matter of fact, so close to his allegedly so-called 2 friends, he almost hits one of them. Now, you got a flight, fright, or freeze. That's probably going to happen anytime a firearm goes off. Well, we saw his one friend, as soon as that first shot goes off, he had to flight. He got out of the area. He's saving himself. We saw the freeze on the other friend, who just simply rolled over, put his hands on the ground. And I tell you, it's a bad situation. It really is. I saw the young man getting tased. He still continued to resist arrest in this instance right here. I saw him wrestle. I saw him actually turn over with the gun in his hand. I saw the other police officer, the one that was tasing him, back off, pulls his weapon. He draws his weapon, and this young man has his weapon pointed at another police officer. And at this time right here, I would not have been surprised if all 3 police officers did not give him 2 taps each, because that was totally inappropriate, out of bounds behavior. And you know that I'm not too much of friends of wicked cops. I don't believe that all cops are wicked, but I think because of the stigma, there is a stigma that the police officers need to realize in this country, is that people feel like, especially black people, they feel like if they even get pulled over by a white cop in this country, that day they may die. And so now what you're watching now is what I told you what was going to take place, is that people are going to start arming themselves and defending themselves if they feel like that they're getting ready to get killed. And that's what you're seeing. That's what you saw. I told you that months ago. What you was going to see is you're going to start seeing people arming themselves and doing whatever they can to protect themselves. And it's obvious this guy, like many other young wannabe gangsters, had no self-control, had no training, don't know what in the hell he's doing with that gun. He shouldn't even had it in the first place, but he don't know what he's doing. But with everything that he had in him, he was going to go down like a G. But just put it like that. He just wasn't going to just roll over. And that's obvious. I hate the irresponsible act of him firing off rounds, not even caring if he hits his own buddies or not. But then to take that gun and to point it like that, and just, he said he wasn't going to jail. That's what he said. He was not going to jail. That's what he said. And he proved it too. But the other cop that tased him and then actually got up and then went around to the side of the other cop that had him pinned down. Once he got up, the guy had the gun pointed. And when he shot him at that instance right there, I'm going to tell you straight up, whether you like it, understand it or not, that cop responded right. You just need to call it for what it is. And I've already spoke on other videos previous to this about my personal disdain and my personal hatred for the news media, the spinning that they do, how they spin the narrative, how they all the time are stoking the flames. It's just off the chain. But there is no way. And if you're going to be righteous, wrong is wrong, right is right. You cannot sit up there and call something wrong that is right, even though we live in a world where right has become wrong and wrong has become right. Period, point blank. This cop was justified. And I don't think he should have a paid administrative leave. I think he should just go ahead and continue to keep doing his job. What all led up to this, totally irrelevant. I said I'm dealing with this situation from the heat of the moment. Am I making sense to you people? From the heat of the moment. And you know me, I call it like I see it. You're wrong, you're wrong, you're right, you're right. I'm not like the news media. I'm not going to play bias and say that the cops hung the moon and they're all right and everything, because they're human beings just like anybody else. But I'm going to say it again. This right here just escalated the black community even the more so, because people are watching this and they're going to learn from this. This is going to escalate not only the black community, but everybody to arm themselves, because after all, that is what the Constitution is about. That is what the Second Amendment is all about. And whether you like it or not, it is there for us to be able to defend our persons, because the real true police power in this country is we the people, which we have lost sense of that because we keep forgetting for some reason that these people are our public servants. They're not our authorities. We are in authority over them. And so people have just, I mean, I don't know what's going on. I don't know if it's GMOs. I don't know if it's chemicals modified. I don't know if it's the food. Something's gone wrong with the minds of people. The water, the chlorine, the mercury, and something's done going on that people can't literally think straight today. But black community, and I just say so-called black community, they ain't no need of getting in the uproar over this one. The young man was just flat out wrong. And he chose to go out like a G, and he did. Again, my concern is for the other two that was there that turned around that could have possibly got shot because of the irresponsible handling of a firearm, which is obvious that this man didn't know what he was doing. Now, how many young men out there on the street carry firearms, don't know what they're doing, think just because they got a gun that they bad? Listen, you don't want to ever meet up against someone like me or a lot of veterans that I know that know what they're doing with firearms. I promise you, because many of you think that because you point and shoot, you're going to hit your target, and that ain't the way it works. But when you deal with skilled people who stay up on their skills to make sure that they never lapse and stuff, when you got people who know what they're doing and are responsible citizens and stuff, if someone of my skill set, and like a lot of other veterans that I know, if we pull a weapon on you, that's going to be your last day on this earth right here. Because first of all, we're responsible enough to know when we need to actually defend ourselves. But that's just idiotic to think that you have a gun and think that just because you have a gun, that you know what you're doing. You should learn from this. It's just a sad reality. So my condolences to the family, and also really that lost a young man. I mean, the younger generation is so rebellious today. You can't teach them nothing, can't tell them nothing. They all have to go out. They all have to fail. They all have to get their own experiences, and they all have to fail miserably, because hoary-headed people like me, when we speak, they think that we're out of touch, even though we've been there before. I was 17 for a whole year. I know how to be 17. I know the attitude of a 17-year-old. You know why? Because there's nothing new under the sun. I think this is a situation that needs to be assessed, that people need to learn from this situation right here, and then learn how to navigate. Because I tell you, the visceral emotion that's going on in this country and the war that is being waged against the community is unwarranted. And from the outhouse, from the president on down, there won't be no justice given to my people in this country. You can already see it. They can spin it, whatever say it, they can say whatever they want, but that's just a reality. So, hey, that's my 2 cents. we'll go from there. Y'all have a wonderful day.